paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, yeah, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
Well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Brainstorm Brewery. This is Corbin Hostler. I have returned. And when I say welcome back, I mean this is the second or third or something time we've tried to start this podcast. Jason, as you can see and hear, cracking a beer over there. That's how you know we started the podcast.
Oh, look. Oh, yeah, we did it. I'm just pouring a beer now because that's what we do in the cast.
Yep, good work.
Just do that clumsy bit or chug this whole beer and crack another one. And DJ and Corbin talked me out of doing that because that sounds like a person who has a problem. It's like, oh, did we not get the take? You know what? Let me just drink this whole beer and then pour another one. That's...
Jason can't get drunk until like 45 minutes into the cast.
He's Jared Leto method acting for his...
If he's messed up 10 minutes into the cast, we're never going to finish an episode. That's just how it goes. Like, speaking from historical perspective here.
That's
just
a good
saying.
point.
Yeah. But I have returned. I had not the best week going down to Houston for the LCS finals, but I got to cover them. That was fun. And we've got Flesh and Blood Pro Tour coming up. So it's a busy time in the world of gaming. And that's a little bit about what we're going to talk about.
Prostitute and you'll just work for any gaming company. You got no loyalty whatsoever.
I will work for anybody. Hire me.
LCS, LSS, I don't care. Corbin
IRA
is for sale.
If you're a 3-letter acronym, call me, Corbin Hostler.
I've got a lot of experience across the industry, and I will come work for you. But I will also podcast for you, and that's why we are here tonight on Brainstorm Brewery. We're going to talk about events coming back. We're going to talk about new Capenna as well, and some interesting...
We made a big announcement today on Twitter. Today being Monday. Perhaps you saw it. Perhaps not.
That's right. But if you did not, you should go check it out because this is big news. Brainstorm Brewery is now sponsored by Coalesce Apparel. If you don't know, that is the company that Cedric Phillips has been running and doing all kinds of merch fulfillment. And you can definitely get a BSB shirt, a BSB hoodie. You can give them as gifts, everything you would want. DJ, if people want to go get the newest merch, which we haven't done in several years, this is a great opportunity to support the, not just us, but mostly the Magic community as well. So how can people get on that?
Yeah, we have a gift code, Brainstorm Brewery, to get 10% off your next order, including sweet new shirts or hoodies. The link will be in the description or whatever you want to call it of the YouTube video. And gift code Brainstorm Brewery to get a excellent quality shirt and or hoodie. We have joined the ranks of esteemed content creators, Shivam Bot, Ristic Studies, and many more. And we're really excited.
Agreed. Definitely go check out Coalesce. Go check out the BSB merch. And now let's talk about what I didn't get a chance to do. I was busy getting in car wrecks and sick and all of the above. But maybe you did at home. Did you get to play any new Capenna?
Absolutely not.
I have seen nothing but people talk about what a miserable limited format it is. And this is from people who like limited and wanted to like it. So now I'm sort of like, ooh.
Yeah, I've seen an amount of that too. I've seen it more phrased as people being like, well, maybe I just don't get it. Maybe. Yeah. But at some point.
It seems impenetrable to people. Whether or not it is, people just don't seem to have a good sense of the archetypes. And is that because it's a 3-color set and it's been a really long time since it's been like 2 years? And it's been like 11 years since anybody actually got to draft a 3-color set?
That's the right one.
Because Ikoria doesn't count. Ikoria came out and everyone was just like,
beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, I'm not going to the LGS right now. So it's been since Shards of Alara that anybody tried to draft it? No, Cons Attack here. You're right.
Cons, yeah. But
which was also forever ago.
Yeah, and the thing is, Cons, though, was very popular, right? The things all made sense. I don't know. I don't know if this. I think it's a
'Cause
possibility.
you know what? Cons had filler in the form of the morph stuff, so you
Right.
could always play a card upside down.
Right.
You could fill out your deck with gray ogres that sometimes got to flip up and do a thing, and that was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But I don't see that in New Capenna. It's just like,
Mo-
hey guys, we had too many legendary creatures, so we had to cut all the removal.
Yeah, Morph was a really, really good mechanic from a design level for Cons of Tarkir, allowing a lot of just smoothing things out, right? I think in Capenna, there's a lot of
Celestial
fixing,
Piper, basically. You always
Oh,
have the
yeah,
Piper.
the Prismatic Piper.
Prismatic Piper, yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know. Like we'll see if it. I love drafting 3-color sets and Cons and shards before that. So I'll have to give Capenna a shot and see. But I don't know. I don't know if it's that the shards or whatever just aren't hitting for people, or if the limited format itself has just got too many words on it.
Or maybe they got to play Cons of Tarkir in the LGS with their friends, and now they're playing on Arena with their enemies.
Maybe. But yeah, so it's the set is out. We're interested to know. Let us know if your experiences with Streets of New Capenna match sort of what we're hearing. That said,
Look,
we have some other
we
information.
actually mean that. Everyone's like, "Yeah, let us know," but like, oh my god, seriously, interact with us. Like, what's wrong? Is it something we did? Did we make our YouTube interface at youtube.com/brainstorm brewery too intimidating? Do you not
know
want
if
to
that's
write
our
brainstorm
URL,
brew
but-
at G? What? Isn't it? Yeah, it is. Shut up. You derailed me so hard. Why do you like this?
got him. That's a got him counter right there.
Accuracy is a cross that I must bear.
It's youtube.com/brainstorm brewery.
I said I don't know.
Well, then why would
Once
you
again.
interrupt me? You interrupted me to be like, what you said might be true. Cool.
I wanted to check it and verify, and then we can do another take.
Oh my
Nobody's
God,
gonna
nope.
hear this.
Nope,
You know,
Jason
the
is
people that
right.
went to youtube.com/brainstorm brewery would see a connection or correction on the screen. That's the whole point of watching a podcast, which is designed to go in your ear, on YouTube, where it's designed to go in your eye. The whole point of going to youtube.com/brainstorm brewery, maybe, is to see JJ put on the screen, that's wrong, here's the actual URL. But like that doesn't help them because they're already watching the video on the site, which is very funny.
For what it's
all
worth,
very funny.
I just want to
Everything
point.
was funny except what you did.
I want to point out it is actually youtube.com/brainstorm brewery.
It'll
That's
be
the
in
best
the
part.
description, just like our gift code that you might
right.
accidentally click on while you're hiccuping from laughter.
Yep, there
You're
you
gonna be
go.
like, that was a great bit, and then you're gonna be like, oops, I accidentally spent a not significant amount of money on a hoodie. And then you're gonna be thankful to us.
DJ's the guy that like heckles a comedian and then it just gets it torn and is it torn? Yeah, your gets torn into a hole inside the your sub. Yeah.
Second time. Yeah.
You heckle and then the guy tears your ass a new ass. And then you're like, I helped. No, you didn't. That guy had material. He worked hard on that. You didn't help the show. Why are you heckling from on stage? That's the crazy part. Heckling's supposed to come from the audience. They're supposed to go to youtube.com/could be anything and write comments to heckle us. But no, you're heckling me from the stage.
That's my fault for not studying up on my sub lore.
Agreed. Speaking of lore,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is the asshole not a subsection of the collective thing known as your? Really?
I don't know. And at this point, I don't want to.
I'm just gonna sub out of this conversation and go to an email from one of our listeners.
All right, let's hear it.
That's the only way out.
New patron question from Andrew Cummings. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I had a question about your thoughts on using extended art / alt art frames as a way of as a sort of canary in the coal mine for new cards. I was recently looking at the MTG stocks graph for Mask of Gristlebrand and noticed that it has been basically flat since release. This makes sense since it is only the 50th most played card in the set according to EDH Rick, though given how good the card is, I definitely expected it to have better numbers than that. I decided to check the extended art graph and noticed that instead of staying flat, it has grown slowly and steadily to about double the price in the same amount of time. My question is whether or not this would cause you to expect the normal printing to eventually rise in price as well. Thanks, Andrew.
That's hard to say. That's
Short
hard to
answer
say.
is yes, but like, if it doesn't go up, you can be like, it went up, but not a lot. I think.
Yeah,
right?
and for what it's worth, Mask of Gristlebrand, the full art version, has kind of leveled off as well over the last few weeks.
This email was sent about a month and a half ago.
Yeah,
Well,
so
that set came out about a month and a half ago. So.
well, yeah, and I think I think this is the point, right? We can look at this and we can see that the full art version did climb. It climbed from $1 to almost $2 over the first 3 or 4 months of the year. It's come back down a little bit. So in this case, it seems like that full art movement did not precipitate movement in the original card. And
but
while
I think the fact that it's a bad example doesn't mean that that's not conceptually sound.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I think as well. I think that this in general is a very good metric to look at. For me, the question is also, a related question is, if you are buying copies of the card, right? If you want to hold on, should you be buying the full arts? Should you be buying the full art foils? Probably not, unless you need to go floating down a river. But should you be buying the full arts instead of the regular ones? I don't know.
So the full art foil thing, it really has narrowed down just like the super high end chase cards of the set. Like, foil full art Jeweled Lotus turned out great for people. Like Masterpiece Soul Ring turned out great for people. That kind of like ultra premium best of the best. Like, there's not really anybody headhunting the full art foil versions of just more niche cards or more just like side grade cards where it's like, as a general rule, if I am picking up a brick of something, I do want to just get like the regular version, because I've talked about on this cast, volume is so much more important than margins, where you just, I'd rather be able to buy a 50 of something and then sell 50 of it and just have that volume and have those cards sell with other cards and have people include Soul Rings and Cultivates in their order and just increase my number of cards in and out. I think another good card to look at it for an example of this is like Academy Manufacturer, that's the name of the card. Like the extended art is currently 10 or 11, and it's been like that for a little while, but it didn't really jump with the regular version, at least at the same rate. Yeah,
the regular version has climbed more recently.
And more drastically than the extended art. And so, like, right now, the extended art is only $1 or $2 more than the regular one. Does that mean you buy the extended one? I don't think so. I think it just means that the normal one tracks very, very well, and it has been tracking very, very well because of course, all the treasure shenanigans that have been going on. So, like, I don't think it just means that you buy the extended one expecting the extended one to go to 20. I think it just means that you want to buy and sell more copies of the normal one.
Yeah, this is kind of my thesis on these over the, watching them play out over the past 6 months, a year, or whatever, is that cards in 2022, the way things are printed, do not necessarily go up just because there is a cool, quote, cool version of it, right? The Full Art Academy manufacturer is all of like $2 or less than 20% more of the regular one right now. That to me, that suggests it's just such a tiny premium that's not what matters. And what matters is just how good the base card is. And when you start talking, like you said, the best of the best, then you're going to see that premium on the premium versions. But when it comes to something like Academy Manufacturer, I think there's a lot more, especially with the card quality issues of the past however many years now, 5 years. People just want the cards to play with.
And the collector boosters, which has made like a foil worth less than a non-foil, because it's like, well, these are the same price, but this is a shitty taco. So like,
yeah, exactly.
I think Jeweled Lotus is like the perfect litmus test for like how Magic card, like how high end actual, not pun intended, like crown jewels of sets are going to be treated in the
chase
future.
Cards.
Like,
yeah.
And, like, if you look at the buy list on Jeweled Lotus, it's like the normal foil is basically the same as the regular foil. The extended art non-foil is more than the set foil.
Yep.
And then the extended art actual foil version is worth 1,000,000 times more, and that's the one that, like, some people have been getting graded, and, like, that's just, like, the actual holy grail of the set. So, like, I don't like just specifically trying to watch for the extended art version to go up first and then buy regular versions. I'd rather just buy the normal version and buy more copies of it and expect to sell more copies of it because it is the cheapest Magic card, because that is what most people want, is the cheapest Magic card.
Yep, completely agree. I think Jewel Lotus, the other example it proves, is that if you are somebody who wants to chase that sort of high-end market of that stuff, right, there is money to be made in that stuff. But you don't do it on, your masks of Grizzlebrand of the world. You do it on your Jewel Lotuses of the world.
That, and it's like a more risky bankroll to like chuck.
Yeah.
And again, I talked about this previously, but like in a world of secret lairs, you have to be very specific about where you put your money because like there's no reason to take a coin flip of a purchase in this market and in this economy anymore when secret lairs exist as just like a weird Roth IRA kind of.
In this economy.
Yeah. We are increasingly doubling down on the stuff you don't want to hear about on this cast just because like as it becomes financially irresponsible to chase the kind of sexy specs that everybody wants to hear about, we do it less because like we don't want to light our money on fire for the gram, but then we like stop having experience doing that other stuff. So it actually we like are getting worse at doing the stuff that we don't like. And I don't know, maybe that's a hint.
Well, there's still.
Well, I think we've evolved with the market, man. That's all it is.
There's still plenty of room to like buy cheap commander cards before they go up based on announcements, and like buy cheap pioneer cards and use just information that Wizards provides us to make very easy calls. It's like, oh, Pioneer's coming back. All the Amonkhet lands are just super easy buys because they're quarters and they become like $3 or 3-digit numbers. And then it's like, oh, that's super easy and that's very obvious. But like the shoot from the hip style Mark Rosewater teaser specs are just not as good of an idea, even though they're more fun.
Yeah.
But you know what? You can do
both.
both,
to provide
right?
you with that content because that's what you want, but just know we don't fuck with that.
Yeah, there
like,
you go.
My pick of the week is from Mirage tonight. Like, I don't care about Mask of Grizzlebrand. It's hard to care about Mask of Grizzlebrand. But if you're someone who, like, should I buy a Mask of Grizzlebrand for $1? If it's going to go up, like, I don't know. Just buy cards if you want to play with them.
There is still, this is sort of my breaking bulk here is going to be a nice bit of a throwback of what we used to have happen a lot in Modern, where bulk rare would just become $5 to $10 overnight. Kragenwick Cremator is one of my favorite examples of that. And there's another one. So it's time for Breaking Bulk, and I'm going to lead things off.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
With a red rare from Morningtide.
Is it Lightning Crafter?
Oh my
Nope.
god, a rare from a banned set. Get out of here.
It's not banned.
No, it's Bold Weird. Oh, it is Lightning Crafter?
It's not Lightning Crafter.
It's the Bold Weird.
Heavyweights.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, bold rare heavyweights. It's a
What did that? Because I noticed that card went up today, but I didn't dig into it.
Yeah, so it's a 4-mana 8/8 trample. When it enters play, each opponent may search their library for a creature card and put it into play. Then each opponent who searches their library this way may shuffle it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the same thing as Eater of Days, where it's just like a card with a shitty effect that you want to like donate from the graveyard.
Yeah. Okay.
So there you go. Boldware heavyweights donated. It's just look. I think that with Pioneer, especially coming up as a paper format again, we are going to see more things like this again, hopefully, which is great. Like that's fun to me. That's the most fun kind of speculation, if you want to put it that way. And that's kind of like the premise of how I started mining Modern back in the days. These decks are on the fringes, but they're just a card or two away from making them good. And that's the kind of stuff that when it comes to Pioneer, you look at the decks that are sort of up. We did that a couple weeks ago, looked at some cards that you might not know about. Look at the decks that are kind of coming up as these events happen throughout 2022. And I think we're going to have more cards like Boldier heavyweights in the future. Jason, DJ, what do you got?
I didn't understand the assignment. I brought a bulk non-rare card from a non-banned set.
Okay.
I'd like to change my answer to Una, Queen of the Fae. No, this is a blue sorcery from Judgment. No, it's not Judgment. Odyssey. The Mirari is set symbol.
Is Extract a rare?
This is common.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it. Well, I didn't know if extract was a rare or not.
Careful
Blue
study.
Odyssey Sorcery.
Careful study.
Extract is a rare, and it's the same mana cost. It's Careful Study.
Oh, I got it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, Careful Study's real money, which is good because they're still in bulk. This doesn't have as many printings as you might think.
This is kind of like an OG.
Well, I mean, they phased it
pick,
out for red. Like, red is the color that gets this now.
Yeah.
This was Faithless Looting before Faithless Looting. It's a 1-mana blue sorcery. Draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards.
You know what's crazy? The gold bordered version of this from the World Championship deck, from specifically Ralph Levy's deck from 2002, is more on Card Kingdom than the regular set version, which is
funny.
just wild.
Ralph's
Are
awesome.
people putting together gold bordered cubes or something?
Look,
weird.
I will tell you this. It is a popular thing for Magic pros or grinders or whatever you want to call back in the before days to pull out gold bordered decks and play them against each other. Like, that's a thing. Like, I have several gold bordered complete decks that you just jam games with people in between rounds. So, look, I don't know. I wouldn't say that that's raised the price of a singular Careful Study in gold bordered, but it is a thing. That's how people
I
tend to use
assume
them.
it's just like something weird in Card Kingdom's algorithm out of anything else.
Yeah,
Like that,
probably number
I'd
in
rather
stock
blame it
or
on that.
something. Yeah. All right, DJ, what do you got?
I have a War of the Spark black common.
Spark Harvest.
No.
Wow, it's not Spark Harvest. Kaya's Ghost Form?
Yep. It's not too
Good call.
it's not
Good
too
call.
difficult to guess.
Kai's
it's
Ghost
just
Form is a very solid card, though.
It's a fine card. It's 1 mana. There are very few cards that protect your creature from being put into exile. As a preemptive measure, this does that. It lets you do some blink shenanigans. It is just a unique effect in black that has not been printed a ton, and therefore...
And it's a competitive card because this combos pretty well with a little something called Luris, I believe, because it's a permanent thing you can do. There's a couple other the Light Paws type
Do you have
decks.
any other banned cards that's good with this?
Well, it's not
Is
banned in
Lures
every.
banned or just banned as a...
It's not
It's
banned. Listen,
in
it is.
most formats.
It's banned in most formats, not all of them. So when I say Luris, I'm talking about like that's how it was comboed on Arena for the last several years. But also it's played in now like Light Paws decks or the blue-white or the black-white Auras decks that are popular in Pioneer or Historic or whatever, right? Whatever format has come and gone over the past several years, that's how you see Kaya's Ghost Form played. Because it's very good, protects it from exile. Good pick.
I've increasingly seen Pioneer decks be built around a legendary creature, which is just wild to me as a Commander player. Because I was playing Feather in Pioneer, I was like, I have 4 feathers. That's too many.
Feather, Winota. Yeah.
Haven't you heard of the Legend rule?
Every
Yeah, the Grease Fang.
Grease
That's a thing
Fang
too? Yeah,
oh,
it's
you're
crazy.
right. Grease Fang, Winota, Light Paws. You actually are.
I'm really
completely right.
surprised that, I'm increasingly surprised that Wizards has not brought back Grander as a mechanic, because, like, that's literally just the champion spell design from Legends of Runeterra, where, like,
Yeah.
you can only
Yeah.
have one champion, theoretically, you can only have one champion of a name in play. There's ways to get around that, but, like, when you draw the second copy of your champion, which is your legendary creature, effectively, then it turns into sort of a signature spell, like, almost like an Oathbreaker type thing, where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this spell works with this champion, so therefore my champion becomes this spell. And Grandeur was the mechanic from Future Sight in 2006, where it's like, oh, if I have my one Corlash in play, this other one discards to get swamps, but powers up my Corlash. So, like,
Did you
that's-
say 2006? I think you mean 2016. I was in college at the time.
That's what he meant, I bet.
Yes.
It's
yes.
like Pokemon, right? Like you draw your Charmander or whatever, and then you like level it up when you draw another copy. It's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Pokemon. And so, like, when you get your Bulbasaur to level 4, then you get to feed it all the candies, and then it turns into an Ivysaur, and then you get to draw 6 cards, and then combo off, because that's how that Pokemon TCG works.
I would love turning a Bulbasaur into an Ivysaur in Magic the Gathering. Why can't we just do that?
That was called Mutate?
Secret Lair, baby! Pokemon Secret Lair coming up!
That's true.
I mean,
I'm in.
it would sell a lot.
Well, actually,
Isn't Pokemon the largest franchise on the planet?
I think
Yes.
Hello Kitty isn't it?
Well, sure. It's up there, certainly, right? But also consider this. Wizards of the Coast made the original Pokemon TCG. So,
the
maybe
fact that they
distributed
don't
in the
anymore
United
means
States.
there might be bad blood there, though. Like,
Right. Well,
if
I mean,
they
it's
don't
20,
anymore, there's
25
a-
years ago or 20 years ago or whatever at this point, right? So who knows? I'm sure it's an entirely new cast of people on all sides, but the Charizards, your Blastoise, like that original run of Pokemon cards that are worth $1 million, and Jake, Logan Paul, whoever puts them around their neck, whatever, all that stuff, that was done by Wizards of the Coast. So a secret
But
lair,
those old foils are worth money because they remained flat because Wizards doesn't make them
he
anymore.
didn't make them anymore. I'm just saying, a secret lair where those were the cards, like the ones that Wizards originally made, and they looked like that, would be pretty neat. I'm just saying.
I would just like a secret lair that is just like, here's enough Pokemon backed Magic cards to make a deck. It's like I would pay for Pokemon backed basics.
Yeah, that'd be neat. I mean, the closest we got was the Theros Beyond Deathlands, right? Are those those are the ones we call Pokemon lands? I think. Yeah, those were neat.
I'm not gonna lie; those are really sharp. I like them a lot.
I think the Spacek lands that everyone's forgotten about existing because they haven't come out yet are like just the coolest of the.
Yeah, I love the secret lair where it's like secret lair hype. Buy this now, and I'll send it to you in 18 months, unless I send you a toothbrush instead.
I am very excited to eventually get my heads you win, tails you lose copies, hopefully before the end of the calendar year. Also, Secret Lair naming convention needs work. As does Wizard set names. They go in both directions, right? There's the list as a product in Magic, and then there's our show is on Friday, can you make it as a product name? Both of those are accurate. They can't find, like, I'm still mad about like that Streets of New Capenna isn't just New Capenna. Like, why can't you just make it easy to, why do I have to tell somebody like, oh no, all the New Capenna cards go in S?
Well, you know, it made sense for like, say when you do Return to Ravnica or whatever, right? By the time you've done Ravnica and Return to Ravnica and you're back on Guilds of Ravnica made sense, right?
Yes,
so,
Shadows over Innistrad makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. Your first trip to New Capenna maybe didn't need to be the streets of New Capenna.
I mean, I don't even know if like
it's flavorful though. I get it.
Is New Capenna the plane or is it a continent?
Or
Not
is
to
it
get too lore deep.
It could be a city. It could be a neighbor. I honestly don't know.
Because like Ixalan is not the plane; it's the continent of Ixalan.
Also, didn't know that.
Yeah, Ixalan
why do you
is not...
know this stuff?
Because I hate wizards with a burning passion.
Yeah, but you know about the wrong stuff.
Know thy enemy.
Like when we ask you finance questions about stuff, like you have no idea.
Know thy
But then you know
enemy.
lore. What the hell?
No,
When have I not had an answer to a finance question?
Oh my god! Don't make me go into our DMs all the times. You're like, literally no interest in knowing about that. Oh god, it's so funny.
Oh, love it. Can I just say, y'all, that I missed this last week while I was being car wrecked. Gotta say, I did.
Did you watch the episode that you weren't on?
I did. Good. I understand if I was a Batman henchman, I would not be the Penguin, though.
Is that because Penguin's not a henchman?
No, I don't know. I'm just like the Penguin was the art in our thumbnail on YouTube. I don't think I'd be the Penguin. What Batman villain do you think who do you think I would be? Because I don't think it's the Penguin.
One of the ones that doesn't get a name. You'd just be
you would just be a guy that like Batman hits him in the hand with a batarang and he goes and drops his gun. That's you.
I could be
Your
like
one line of dialogue is
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah, right.
I got a speaking role in a Batman movie. I'm in. Sounds great.
It's the Bat.
Speaking of New Capenna, though, one of the things with all these different versions of cards, and I will say that some of the treatments on the Capenna stuff looks really nice, but
they feel so fake.
Do they? Yeah, I haven't held one yet.
Very
I guess.
fake.
Good to know. Good to know. I'm sure that won't be a problem in several years, right? Or 6 months, or however long it'll take for them to put out fakes of this. But we wanted to talk about the odds of pulling each thing. Ben Blyweiss wrote a really good article on Star City Games when the set came out. So to break down a little bit here, in order to get one, this is sort of the headline here. In order to get one of each variant of mythics, some of those mythics have up to 3 variants. So the math that Ben put out says that in order to get one of each variant, you would need to open, on average, 492 collector boosties. What's the price of a collector booster these days?
$20.
It's a lot of money. Oh, that's a total of 41 boxes of product, represented by any given etched foil Elspeth, Obnixilis, Urabrask, or Vivian. In every 41 collector boxes, or 492 collector packs you'd open, there would be the following: 6 copies of each rare with 1 variant, 3 copies of each version of each rare with 2 variants, 3 copies of each mythic rare with 1 variant, on average 1.5 copies of each version of each mythic rare with 2 variants, and 1 copy of each version of each mythic rare with 3 variants. Welcome to Magic in 2022.
I mean, I think that's a good thing. I think that cards being very, very rare and hard to hunt for is a good thing for Magic the Gathering if there are alternative and ways to get those cards. And that's not an unpopular opinion. That's not like some weird hot take.
Yeah, I agree.
Like the rest of us have.
Don't make the chase version be the only version, and we're good.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Give somebody the chance to open that in a booster pack from F&M their pants. Give people the opportunity to play a $15 version of it if they would like to have 4 of them for a reasonable amount for F&M. Everybody wins.
Yeah, I really do think that, we talked a lot about on this podcast when they started doing masterpieces, and I wrote an article about this and breaking it down, blah, blah. We all dug into what masterpieces meant for Magic. And when they first came out with them, the idea was that these super chase cards would bring down the price of everything else, making standard more affordable. They've obviously been tinkering and experimenting with that, and it's turned into collector boosters and blah, blah, blah. But everything else we've talked about kind of says that they achieved that goal. The base set versions of cards are pretty cheap, and then you can pay $1 billion for your red Hidetsugu or whatever, right? So it's very, very complicated when you start reading it out like this. And if I'm a collectionist and I want to get one of every single version, well, you're opening 500 collector boosties to do that. But for people who just want to play Magic, it's great. That's a new word that I made up, by the way. Neither of you called me on that, but I'm
What, boosty?
No.
What's the word you made up?
A collectivist. It makes sense. There's players.
I'm gonna be honest. It seems distinctly possible that
I was gonna say that sounds like a plausible
when you
word.
talk.
That's fine.
It's possible that I just didn't listen to anything you said.
It's okay.
It's hard to pay attention to this podcast when I'm checking out to see who's wearing what at the Met Gala.
Good point, Jason. Good point.
Because I want to see who's wearing what, and also if a meteor hits the Met Gala. like in my prayers.
Yeah, of course. Well, the other thing going on here with New Capenna is that it also brings back the return of events. This was sort of the big pre-release, I think, that a lot of people kind of went back for. We had SCG Con. We've got a slate of events coming up. And yet, as it turns out, the world has changed since 2019. The amount of subsidizing of events that Wizards of the Coast is doing has changed since 2019. The costs of events has changed since 2019. The price support, however, has gotten worse. And the internet was a little, I'm not even going to say up in arms, but disappointed by sort of the new normal of SCG Con. People complaining about the prize wall not having good options and being sold out by Saturday at noon, and everything being overpriced, and the price support being worse. Just from my perspective, that's what the future is. It's not, the costs are not going down, and they're not going back to where they were in 2019 for you or the tournament organizers.
Costs don't go down.
Yeah.
Costs go up with justification, but do not go down when the opposite of that justification.
Yeah. Yeah. So, people look, there's certain things there that are easy to talk about, right? Like your prize wall running out of certain products or popular products by noon on Saturday. That is a solvable problem that I think super fair to criticize a company for, whatever. But people are just sort of having wow, I'm remembering what the prize wall looked like in 2017 when I went to an event, and here it is in 2022, and I'm at an event, and this is what it looks like. What the hell? The sticker shock has gotten people, but I don't know. I don't see it changing. I think that, especially like with the conversation that is the lack of coverage over the past few years, and sort of just the economics of these events getting laid bare to sort of the community, or just, sort of everyone at large, the internet, is that, I don't think the answer is SCG was greedy or whatever, right? I think this is just the economic reality of what events are going to look like for a while.
I mean, I think that's fine. I think that Magic events being expensive is okay, because that has
You shouldn't
never...
be at events right now.
There's partially that, but like I don't think that these grandiose in-person events have ever been like what the game is about from a big, like, air quotes perspective of like, oh yeah, this is real Magic. This is where I like, they're fun and I miss them, and like that they were a significant portion of my income before everything shut down. But like,
you loved them because you got paid to be there. You didn't have to pay $80 to play with your own cards.
Yeah, that's I mean, I think that for even content creators, and all of us fall into this definition and are a little privileged, and just even if we go to an event, we're just interacting with that event differently than somebody who plays Commander at home and is paying $80 to go to the command zone to play with their own cards, like Jason said, for 3 hours.
But I mean, like even before Command Fests were a thing, like that was still... Like when they were just GPs, when you were getting moved from the commander, from your commander pod because of a judge needed the table or whatever, like that's still how it was. And like, I don't think that was ever the core concept of what Magic needed to survive. Same with like coverage. Like Magic doesn't need coverage. Magic doesn't need any of these things. Magic needs like a lot of like people with disposable income buying cards on TCG Player and Amazon for their 75 card Pegasus decks. That's what Magic needs to survive.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's something to all of it, right? Obviously, Wizards feels very strongly about getting back to in-person events, and they've made a big deal about it. And that's, like, there's something to all of it.
Magic Esports, follow them on Twitter.
That account does not exist anymore. Yeah, so look, I don't know. So the other thing is to talk about this, the judge pay was brought up, and about how SCG may or may not have been short-staffed on the weekend because they weren't paying judges a significant amount more. And it wasn't, judges is sort of like they can do some funny math and room with 3 people and break even on a weekend and call it a successful judge thing. Because the idea for a lot of judges is that they're building up to be a level 3, and one day they'll be running the GP and making thousands of dollars just to go to Magic tournaments, right? And a lot of judges do make money, but a lot of them don't. And the costs of travel have exploded. You think the costs of Magic have exploded. The cost of getting to Magic events has exploded and is definitely not going back. And it's just made it a worse EV proposition for everyone at every level. And I don't know what changes that. I don't know. I don't see those things getting cheaper. I don't see, travel costs significantly decreasing, and I don't see those events suddenly becoming much more profitable for tournament organizers. So
no,
this is sort of the way it is. And I don't know that, obviously there are complaints that can be had, but if you are someone who's thinking about going to an event, and look, we've got Dream Hacks coming up and things like that I'm certainly going to be going to, just prepare yourself a little bit that it may not look like what you remember. Probably the best way to put it. Or,
Corbin,
as Jason said, you just stay at home.
We brought you back for one trial episode, and you're just a bundle of joy, aren't you?
That's what I'm here. I'm here to be the doomer. No, I'm here to... look, I love Event Zone. We're getting back to them, and I am excited about that. But what DJ said about Magic players and disposable income is what it has always come down to, and what is really going to be laid bare now.
Yep. I don't want to go to events right now because I have a young kid who's not vaccinated, but I could see most Magic players not having to worry about having young kids.
Yeah. All right, well let's wrap things up then with some picks of the week on our way out of here.
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
I have a pick, and it kind of slightly contradicts some of the things I was saying earlier about how you shouldn't buy the fancy new card from the set because it's not going to go up a bunch. But this is a card where if you need them, you should probably get them now because I don't think it's going to get cheaper. I'm pronouncing this correctly, I hope. Giada, Font of Hope, the angel tribal card that has the word angel written on it 75 times.
Yeah.
And it is very aggressively statted, and
It's like the 12th most played card in the set right now also. So like it has strong metrics.
for commander, for standard, for everything. And like
Cards absurd.
we mentioned during the set review when it was 20 pre-sale and said don't buy this, and then we said buy it later, and I am surprised to see that the market price is down to $3.
That's very cheap.
For $20 pre-order, yeah.
I'm very surprised that it just tanked that hard for release weekend, and I can't.
Those are pain seer numbers.
Right, yeah, it's definitely lower than what I thought it would be.
If you don't remember this card, by the way, people, it's a 2/2 Flying Vigilance for 2. Okay, we're already above the curve here. It's an angel. It's legendary. Each other angel you control enters with an additional 1/1 counter for each angel you already control. That's just disgusting. And then, oh, by the way, it can tap after you've attacked with Vigilance to add white mana to cast an angel spell. Just everything, this card.
Yeah, and like I said before, I don't think this is a card where you just buy bricks of it and then expect a hefty return 6 months down the line. They can do weird list printings. They can print it in a secret layer already. They can do we've talked about reprintability and how that is just sort of a concept, like a deductive science that has just been chucked out the window. But this is if you need your copy, if you want your playset, buying it on release weekend seems abnormal, but I think 3 is the bottom, and if it's not, then you go deeper, like Jason has always talked about. If you are the buy a brick of the standard legal card and hope it goes up kind of person, and you buy a brick of this card and hope it goes up, and then it goes down, I think you double down. Because this will be 10 eventually.
Yeah, I think so too. And for what it's worth, this card has shown the last couple days anyway some signs of leveling out. So I think DJ's right that we are probably if the floor isn't 3, the floor is 2. So, you're perfectly fine starting.
I don't want to live in a world where this is a bulk rare, is what I'm saying. Like, there's the climate apocalypse on one side, and there's Giada Font of Hope being a bulk rare on the other side, and I am like the sweating Jordan Peele gif, just like trying to choose which fate I want to suffer.
If this card was bulk, if they come in and they put it in a pre-con event, there are ways it could get to bulk without it being a thing. But if this card just sort of on like a power level and everything we know about Magic speculation level is a bulk rare in 6 months instead of more than $2 or $3,
they're going to print. Listen, 6 months from now is 45 sets. You don't think they're going to print this exact card but better because they have to put 32 legendary creatures in the set, and they're like, oh, we got to do 5 commander decks. That's 19 more legendary creatures.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, like everything we think is good is going to be obsolete in a year. So like having something powerful as a long-term hold, like kind of presupposes that they're not going to f*** up and just make a better exact version of it.
It's possible.
It's so risky. That's why I love old cards.
Yeah.
On the basis of a new card being printed, Oscar the Grouch from New Capenna, reserve list card Unfulfilled Desires is $5. I'll repeat that. Playable reserve list card Unfulfilled Desires is $5. That goes in your Lazav, Sephiroth, Mimeoplasm, Arami, Zur, and Muldrotha decks. But also, you throw that in Oscar the Grouch, and all of a sudden you've got a repeatable discard outlet that just lets you pay a mana to draw a card and pay a life and a mana to draw a card and then just play a card from your hand. It's incredible.
I was buying collections today, and I noticed that City of Shadows goes in a much different spot on my buy mat than it did 2 months ago. That card is awful.
Yep.
And it's a reserved list card.
City of Shadows, by the way, people. Yeah.
This is a $5 playable reserve list card. I don't know what else to say when people are paying like $17 for Catacomb Dragon, other than this shouldn't be $5.
Yeah, DJ's card is it's got a lot of words on it, and they're all ridiculously bad.
Look at squandered resources. So Oscar the Grouch isn't gonna be the Get Rog monster. I get that, but at the same time, it's $5 for a playable reserve list card.
Yeah, there you go. To the other point, though, I wanted to go back and talk about DJ's card with the Angel. Righteous Valkyrie is, I think, a pretty decent analog here. Righteous Valkyrie was a rare in Kaldheim. Got multiple versions. It was $2 to $3. It's a 3-drop, 2/4 flyer. When another angel enters the battlefield or cleric, you gain its toughness, and if you have 7 life more than your starting total, your creatures get +2. So this card has climbed up to over $5 now, and was gettable at $1 at release, and $2 a long time after that. So to DJ's point about whether, you know, a rare out of a set that's an angel, is it going to be a bulk rare? No, I think it's more likely to be Righteous Valkyrie than it is to be 75 cents. All right, I'll wrap things up here then. I'm going to go with also a recent card. And again, this is a card that can get reprinted, but it is also a card with a powerful sort of track record in its effect. But Teferi's Aegis Insight. 4 mana, legendary enchantment. If you would draw a card except for the first one you draw, in each of your draw steps, draw 2 instead. It's just started to move up a little bit from 2, you know, kind of moving up towards 3. It's from M21, which means it came out 2 years ago now. And as people start building, you know, more things in paper over the coming year and years, this is just a card I think it continues to climb for just what it does. It's just a very powerful, staple-y effect, even if this card itself, wherever that falls into it. But I think Teferi's Aegis of Insight's probably got some room to climb.
I like it. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
There you go, everybody. Look, this was a... we're going to see how Streets of New Capenna starts impacting all the formats here moving forward, right? We'll, in a couple weeks, we'll start to really have a lot of EDH data coming in on it, but we'll also hopefully have some competitive events leading up to, you know, in June, when I think the Magic events kind of start back up on a bigger level, starting with DreamHack there that first weekend of June. So it's going to be an exciting summer for Magic, and I think there's going to be a lot of price movement to follow as well. And of course, we have you covered on all of it. Us and our sponsor, mtgstocks.com, where we get all of our picks, where we look at all of this historical data. You can go sign up for a premium account on mtgstocks.com. You can set alerts. You can follow sealed product. You can get anything you want. It is the best tools, bar none, on the internet for following the cards you want to buy and the cards you care about the value of. So
all right, so
check out mtgstocks.com.
We've pitched a lot to you over the past few months. I understand that. I'm going to give you a short guide on using your funds to pay for your other BSB sponsor products. First use the Patreon money, because the Patreon money is key. That goes to us, and then you get your spreadsheet access, you get your TCG player fee structure access, you get the early episode access, you get all the tools. Use that to buy the sweatshirt. Now you're warm. Now you're comfortable. Now you're focused. Your mind is in a flow state.
Flow
now
chart
you have
here, yeah.
Power and tools to bang out some more Magic income. Now you're comfortable. You got your Maslow's hierarchy needs met. You got your food. You got your sweatshirt. Now you go for the premium membership, because you can coast along on the free membership on MTG Stocks for a while. You can't coast along on a free sweatshirt. That doesn't exist. Now you have secured the premium MTG Stocks tools. Now you're making the Elon Musk money. Now you're posting on Twitter. Now you're an incorrigible right-wing piece of garbage.
Now you're shit posting on Twitter.
Now you've ascended to godhood, to Twitter sharing buying status. And who do you have to thank for that? Specifically Corbin. Please don't mention me and Jason at all in your ascension.
I don't like how this ended. I don't like how. I liked how you had me in the first shaft, man, but like, I don't like how this one ended. But you know what? All things have to end, including this podcast. So thank you, everybody.
Don't say
for listening.
Don't say that, because that's how we lose half our listeners in a
That
purge.
is how we lose half our listeners. It's true. It is going to
associate end of BSB with no, the end of BSB. That's how.
Yeah. Look, you think they know better by this point, but despite all reasoning to the contrary, we do have new listeners coming in regularly, so we appreciate that. We appreciate the support everyone gives us at patreon.com/BSB. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.